Ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at the Facebook page for the Genital Integrity Awareness Week. And I'm sitting here, and you can see him now with David Wilson, the legend of intactivism. And now, when I say legend, I'm serious. This man has been in the U.S. Capitol for 33 straight years for Genital Integrity Awareness Week with snow piled beside him. So when I say the legend, this is the man, David Wilson. David, why is it so important that we come together as intactivists for this very important week? I mean, we can put 100,000 people on the west lawn of the U.S. Capitol, which you have the permits for and have had the permits for every single year, and on a first name basis with the police there. Go ahead and tell them, why is Genital Integrity Awareness Week so important?
I think it's way past time that humans, and especially American humans, wake up that they were lied to. If you go back to the original popularity of circumcision in America, it wasn't health related, it was punishment for adolescent boys masturbating. Back in the old day, they thought masturbation would lead to blindness. Of course, that was a joke, but it would lead to insanity. I just made a post. This guy was bragging about having a nicer looking penis and easier to clean. And I said, yeah, and your mother should have gotten you a lobotomy, you know, um, because you ain't got to worry about it after that. Everybody be wiping your parts.
Well, I
It
think that's
blows.
so ironic because it's like I personally believe that if you're smart enough to go to college, you're smart enough to wash your own penis. So I think a man can wash his own private parts. Girls can do it. I think boys can do it too. That's how circumcision started in the United States. So circumcision started in the United States when the doctor.
uh,
Okay.
uh, of masturbation, it, it became popular
Mm.
because prior to that time, and I catch hell at times for saying this, um, they, we weren't cutting up our males to America, that they felt the need to practice their religious beliefs. And then a lot of these doctors that promoted circumcision,
We're using religious reasons for their doctoring.
yeah, and push that on the American way of life.
Mhm.
You take a look at the men that we hear, just like it's prettier.
Sexually implicit. So when you circumcise the penis, it exposes the head of the penis and it makes it look like it's in an excited state. So it looks like it's ready for sex. It's not supposed to, the normal penis is supposed to be covered. So we're sexualizing an infant's genital organ.
When I've argued with people that the first sexual experience of a newborn infant male is, oh, granted, they clean him up and get him cleaned up, blah, blah, after birth, and he gets an erection. But the next erection is when they're cleaning him up and they're getting him ready to shove those forceps down him. That is the very I used to say first sexual experience. I'd have to say it's the second now, because they do clean us up, get all the crap off of us, and then they mutilate us. But our natural sexual experiences ended that day. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
To remove a large portion of a human being's sex organs and think it's not going to affect their sexuality is is beyond me in any kind of logic or reason. And we
Well,
don't do this out of logic or reason.
there is no logic or reason.
No.
Um, and that is why there was a website that listed all the reasons to continue this insanity. And it was mind boggling. It was a website, I forget the boy's name, over in Australia or New Zealand. But, and um, it goes from bedwetting to diarrhea, curvature of the spine, club foot, uh, cure you of alcoholism, rapists. Uh, you know, when they realized that the masturbation thing wasn't working, They had to come up with new things. And that's like Dr. Louis Zare. He was right there along with Kellogg. Um, he had a disabled boy brought into him, and the nurses said that, doctor, his penis is infected. And he he ended up circumcising this boy. This boy has never straightened out his legs in his life because he's been crippled, and he straightened his freaking legs. So Dr. Zare said circumcision is cure for paralysis. Well, if it hurts so bad that you're crippled and you never moved your legs and then you move your legs, what's that tell you? Um, but this was the mentality of these people back then.
Mhm.
Curvature of the spine. You know, uh, what the fuck? Excuse me.
It's a surgery in search of a disease,
Yes,
and it's the
perfect.
disease of the decade.
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah.
And we talked about
Um,
this the last time we talked, that the disease that it supposedly cures at this point in time is AIDS. But in reality, the AIDS epidemic happened in the United States of America at the peak of the circumcision rate in the United States of America. Approximately 90% of the men were circumcised, and yet this AIDS epidemic happened. So if circumcision was supposedly going to help stop the AIDS epidemic, why
yeah.
didn't it work? It didn't
Well,
work because it doesn't work.
well, that's how we've gotten ourselves into Africa, because of those fictitious or falsified statistics,
Mhm.
where, and this is what they preach to these African men: you have a 60% chance, less chance of contracting HIV.
And it's a
So they get,
percentage of a percentage. We should tell our viewers that when
yeah,
the way they came up with that is that the circumcised men had a 1.2% chance of getting AIDS, and the uncircumcised men had a 2.5% chance of getting AIDS. Well, that's a 60% difference. But what they don't tell you is that the circumcised men were receiving health care and free condoms and the use of condoms. So there's a whole nother aspect to
oh
this.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Go
that
ahead.
throws a whole nother sub definition there, with what they're providing. But when they're cutting these men, um, when they're leaving the clinics, they're being told that in order to be 100% protected, you still need to wear a condom, which is
What's the
is
point of getting circumcised then?
exactly. And then these men that are getting cut, they believe that they are less likely to contract HIV. So they're sleeping with whatever they can. You know
Mm.
what I mean? I almost said the F word, but they believe that they're immune. And
Yeah, can we see your
60%.
background? Can we see your posters in the background? Yeah. Yeah, so that one right behind you, that's the one we used in just December 17th in
Oh,
supporting
yeah.
17 years in Tallahassee for the first uh, anniversary of the first arrest for circumcision, protesting
Yeah.
circumcision in the
Van
United States.
Lewis.
Van
Yeah.
Lewis. Now,
Can I?
did Van Lewis, he was able to join you at GIAW, was he not?
Van Lewis is what brought that together.
Oh, really?
Um, I I was going up, I think I mentioned it before. I was going up on April 1st, using it as a joke day for a serious subject, making fun of myself because I'm speaking out against you cut the end of my dick off.
Hmm.
People didn't get it, some people did. Then Van Lewis found me after I got online in 96, and he, he talked some sense into me. He says, "What are you doing?" I mean, now he did join me, him and his brother, Van and Ben,
Hmm.
and we stretched it out to include the 28th, 29th, and because I think I'm losing you.
No, I'm sharing the screen.
Okay.
Sharing the
Um,
screen so people can see the Facebook page for the GIAW, General
yes,
Integrity
and
Awareness Week.
Van was arguing the same thing about April 1st, but then we were staying there for a couple days at a time. And And then NoCert joined us in 2001. And that is when we stuck almost 100 people on the East Center steps of the Capitol. It was mind boggling. Even the cops that knew me for years, he goes, Dave, you brought a few friends with you. And the next day, they would only let me put 3 banners up on the steps because my permit only said 3 banners. I didn't know I was going to have 100 people with a bunch of different signs, this, that, and the other. And um, I got a banner that I've had since then, 2001. It's black with white letters, and it says, "Whose penis, whose body, whose rights."
Oh yes, I've stood with that sign. So, and for the viewers, so they'll know, is that that's when you were on the steps of the U.S. Capitol. We're now on the west lawn of the U.S. Capitol, and we can have all the signs we want and 100,000 people. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, we had that sign on the East Center steps in 2001, I believe it was. And
Mhm.
we also had the arrest penis butcher doctor sign. I think it was Todd from Ohio. But we had a middle school kid come up and go, you spelled who's wrong. And it on the banner, it was WHO apostrophe S. Whose penis? And I'm like, son of a, we didn't pay attention. And I told Todd, have your guy send me the letters. I'll fix it for tomorrow. And he wouldn't do it. So I took that banner home with me in 2001. And since then, I've had it, with the exception of the last 2 years. I've had that 4x8 piece of board placard. We leaned it up against the wall last year. And, but I was just talking to Daniel, having that banner where I can turn around with it and point it at people that are pointing at us. You've been there on the
Absolutely.
West Lawn,
Mhm.
and you're putting it in their face.
Well, and people
Uh,
aren't people aren't cutting their children out of logic or reason, and they're doing it out of what they believe is love and what they
it's
were what they
habit.
were taught. Say it again.
It's habit.
Have it. Have it.
It's been instilled into them
Mhm.
that these boys will not survive if not cut. And
And,
the
and,
number
and
of
we
these
know that
damn,
we know that's not true because the rest of the world does not cut. The
right.
United States is the only country in the world that cuts infants for so-called medical reasons. The only country in the world that cuts infants for
Yeah.
so-called medical reasons. Only,
It
go ahead.
is mind boggling when you keep seeing these mothers saying he's not going to clean himself when he gets older. Well, that that's on you. You didn't teach him. You didn't teach him. And then I also go, honey, they got 2 aisles of feminine hygiene products to quench your stench. And I had to correct a post uh, because I got censored, but I corrected the words.
So true,
Right.
David. So
Hey,
true.
hey.
Girls have lots of folds. We don't go cutting their parts off. We teach them to clean themselves, and there's products available for that. And then and
Well, the idea that these women are admitting that they're too stupid to teach their son to play with himself.
how to wash
Um,
himself. Well, they
yeah,
taught him how to wash behind his ears and brush his teeth and wash his butt crack. I'm sure they can teach him how to wash his penis.
yeah. I've said that to many of people. I said, hey, just cut your freaking ears off, man. You ain't got to worry about it no more. You really don't need them anyway, you know. But
Yeah, you won't have to clean behind your ears anymore if we cut them off. Yeah,
uh,
the logic. Yeah, again, that's we're not the children aren't being cut about logic. So we have to be able to show these mothers and fathers both. We have to be able to show them love and respect that they believe, they really do. They believe they're doing the right thing by cutting parts off of their child. And as one of those children that's had their parts cut off, I would implore these parents to think again and to think that maybe their son is smart enough to clean himself.
well, here's the problem. we have brainwashed our parents, our baby daddies and mommies,
Mhm.
that the foreskin is so evil that they believe it's got to be cut off to be American also,
Mhm.
which blows my mind. And but it's much healthier and cleaner and this and that, and a little boy's not going to take care of himself. Well, until we change that, uh,
Narrative. Mhm.
until we change that mentality, we are not going to.
Yep.
Well, we'll get to them. We're at 50% now,
Yep.
somewhere there.
So I'm sharing the page again for the Facebook page for the General Integrity Awareness Week for 2026. We'll be on the west lawn of the U.S. Capitol. You can see this here. And then from the west lawn, you can see all down the mall there in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. But remember now, on the 28th, we're going to be in front of the Supreme Court.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for reminding us about that.
Yeah.
So we'll be on the other side. So if you can see the map here.
That's the
Right, so we're
east
going to be,
side.
here's the Supreme Court on the other side. So we'll be on
Yeah,
the
there
east
you go.
side of the
There you go.
Capitol. We're in
Yeah.
front of the Supreme Court on the 28th only, and then we'll be on the west lawn for the rest of the week. And I
Yeah.
want to,
And
I want,
let me make one little note that
yep,
there's an organization in our intactivist movement that picked April 4th as Foreskin
oh
Day.
no, we can talk about it. So that, yeah,
That's
Impact America has chosen as April 4th as
yeah,
Foreskin Day,
yeah.
fourth month and the
And
fourth day of her Foreskin Day. And,
I picked this day.
yeah,
And I included this day in my
yeah,
permit to be on the west side of the freaking Capitol
uh-huh.
in order to coincide with Foreskin Day.
Mhm.
And it's only taken me 340 something days to get Intact America to post
Yep.
that we're going to be on the west side of the
Oh, that's good.
U.S.
Well, Intact
Capitol.
America is supporting us. And unfortunately, I just had an interview with Georgianne Chapin of Intact America, and they don't have any in personnel to send this year.
Yeah, that's
And I want to
interesting.
respect that. I want to respect our viewers' time and
Yeah.
wrap this up. So what's your one last comment that you want to share with our viewers about Genital Integrity Awareness Week, which is starting very soon, the March 28th.
While I appreciate what everybody is doing in their town, their cities, their whatever, their state, whatever, we have to realize that we have to come together in a large unit. Uh, Come with your signs, your T-shirts, your this, that, but hang out on the west side of the Capitol. You
Mhm.
got to show a sign of unity.